Types of viruses. Now we have different types of viruses available now. How do they infect? Depend on how do they infect. Some of these are like system or boot sector viruses. There are stealth viruses, that is tunneling virus, encryption virus, polymorphic, metaphoric, overwriting file or cavity virus, file existence extension virus, shell virus, companion virus, which can be also called camouflage virus, space infector, cluster, file virus, multi-parodies virus, macros, add-on virus, intrusive virus, direct action or transient virus, terminate and stay resident virus. These are the different type of viruses we have. First, boot or system or boot sector virus. This virus do what? It is called boot sector virus. It moves MBR to another location on the hard disk and copies itself to the original location of MBR. Now what is MBR? MBR is the master boot record. When our system starts, so our operating system stores a bootable file into MBR space, and that MBR space has the bootable file. Now what it do here, this virus do what? It moves that bootloader file to somewhere else and place its own code into that MBR, and it sets the jumper on it. So when system boots, virus code is executed first, and then control is passed to the original MBR. So it places itself first before the MBR. That is where the bootloader files are there. So it moves the bootloader files in behind, and first it loads itself. So before running anything, like before operating system, the virus code executes first, and then it compromises the whole system. Then we say file and multi-parodies viruses. These file viruses infect files which are executed or interrupted in the system, such as COM, EXE, sys, OVL, OBG, PRG, MNU and BAT files. These files are somehow executable files. So it infects these executable files, and file viruses can be either direct action or resident or memory resident. Now what that means, direct or resident virus, we'll see. Multi-parodies virus means it infects the system boot sector and the executable files at the same time. So it is like a boot virus, and also it do the file affect the executable files both at the same time, and it is called multi-parodies virus. Macro virus infect files created by Microsoft Word or Excel, and most macro viruses are written using macro language Visual Basic for application, VBA. Macro viruses infect templates or convert infected documents into template files while maintaining their appearance of ordinary document files. So it is like in Microsoft Word we have a language called macros to do the automated things. Like in Microsoft Word or Excel and even a PPT also, we have a macros language. It do automate the things. Like if you want to type something, if you want to make something, you can automate. You want to make table, you can create it into macros, and then it will be, whenever you want, you run the macro code and it will create the thing for you. Create the table, create the paragraph and something else. So this is what to do the automation in the Microsoft Words, Microsoft Documents. Now using this automated executable codes, attacker can do what? In fact, it can add the malicious code in the macros using coding language, that is VB. Now it looks like a normal document, but when you open the document, it executes that macro codes, and it can compromise your system. So it is called macro virus. Then we have cluster viruses. Cluster viruses modify directory table entries so that it points users or system processes to the virus code instead of the actual program. There is one copy of the virus on the disk infecting all the programs in the computer system. It will launch itself first when any program on the computer system is started, and then the control is passed to actual program. So this virus do actually what? It modifies the directory tables for the file system, and when any program executes, it executes first the virus code, and then it will launch then it will transfer the control to the program, the actual program. Then we have stealth, or we can say tunneling viruses. These viruses evade the antivirus software by intercepting its request to the operating system. A virus can hide itself by intercepting the antivirus software request to read the file and passing the request to the virus instead of the OS. So the virus can then return an uninfected version of the file to the antivirus software so that it appears as if the file is clean. So basically it works as a proxy, and it do as a proxy, or we can say it's a tunnel. So when antivirus, suppose the file is infected here, now when antivirus wants the file to scan, it sends a query, it will send a request to operating system that I want this file to scan. So when the request goes to the operating system, it do what? In between, the virus do what? It removes its code when it is forwarding the file to antivirus. Now when antivirus scans the file, it sees no harmful code is there, and it says the file is okay. But again it will add the code into it when it is going back to the operating system. Then we have encryption viruses. These types of viruses use simple encryption to encipher the code. The virus is encrypted with a different key for each infected file. So the antivirus scanner cannot directly detect these types of viruses using signature detection methods, because it do encrypts its code. So the virus codes will be encrypted, and it keep encrypting differently every time. So when the antivirus detect the signature for one time, then other time, next time it will not able to detect the signature. So when it is encrypted, antivirus is not able to detect the signature of the virus. Then you have polymorphic code. This polymorphic code is a code that mutates while keeping the original algorithm intact. To enable the polymorphic code, the virus has to have polymorphic engine, also called mutating engine or mutation engine. A well-written polymorphic virus therefore has no parts that stay the same on each infection. It is very simple. It do what? Every time when it infects the program, it changes its code itself. For that, the virus creator has to create the engine for it. So whenever it infects the program and executed the program, every time it's change its code itself. So it is very difficult to detect the antivirus. It is very difficult for the antivirus to detect the code, because every time it is running the program, running the virus, it is changing its code. So whenever user runs the infected program, you can see this is the program. So decrypt, routine decrypt, virus code and mutation engine. So it decrypt the engine with the code where it does the damage, and then what it do here, interact with the creator engine again, and then instruct the creator to new EMU, and the virus encrypts itself with new key, and then new polymorphic virus will be created. So it is itself creating a new copy of itself every time when it is executed. Metaphoric viruses are rewrites it themselves completely each time they are to infect new executable. This metaphoric code can reprogram itself by translating its own code into a temporary representation and then back to the normal code again. For example, this W32 Smile consisted of over 40,000 lines of assembly code. 90% of it is a part of the metaphoric engine. So whenever it runs, it creates a new program. This program deciphers malware variants with recorded code. Then we have file overwriting or cavity viruses. These cavity viruses overwrites a part of the host file that is with the constant, usually nulls, without increasing the length of the file and preserving its functionality. This virus do what? It overwrites the file and fill with the null values, without increasing the size and functionality of the file. So it fill the file with the null values and remove the original content. Now spares infector virus. This spare infector virus infects only occasionally. Example, every 10th program executed, or only files whose length fall within a narrow range. Very difficult to detect. By infecting less often, such viruses try to minimize the probability of being discovered. So because it is running very less, that means if after occasionally sometime, or suppose for example after every 10th program executed, so it is very difficult to detect these things. So it is like wake up on 15th of every month and execute the code. So the programmer of the virus designed like wake up on every 15th of every month and execute the code and go to the silent mode. Then we have companion or camouflage virus. This companion virus create a companion file for each executable file the virus infect. Therefore, a companion virus may save itself as notepad.com, and every time a user executes the notepad.exe good program, the computer will load a notepad.com virus and infect the system. So it do what? It creates the companion of the every exe it infects. Companion, that means it created the notepad.com apart from notepad.com apart from the notepad.exe. Now remember, when you run the notepad, so for example when you run notepad, like you go to run and you give command notepad. Now what it will do? It will run this program from system32. So where this notepad system32 is there, it will create the companion file of the virus with the name of notepad.com. Now notepad.exe and notepad.com, so which will run first? By default Windows will do what? Windows will run com first. It will not run exe first. Why? Because of alphabetical order. This E comes after this C. So when you run the notepad, you don't type notepad.exe. So we type normally directly notepad in run. So what it do? It runs the notepad. Now where it runs the notepad? It runs it from the system32 directory, where all the other exes are there. Like for example, if I run Kelsey, so it will open the Kelsey from system32. So these programs are coming from system32 in C Windows, where all the other programs are there. So it will create, the companion virus will create what? The companion file in that location, in the same location system32, but it will name as, you see this is notepad.exe. Now it will create notepad.com and this is the virus file. So when you run the notepad, so instead of notepad.exe, the notepad.com file will run first and the virus will execute itself. Now why it will run first? Because of the alphabetical order. So because of the alphabetical order, it runs the com first instead of exe. Then we have shell virus. Shell virus. This virus code forms a shell around the target host program code, and making itself the original program and host code as its subroutine. Almost all boot program viruses are shell viruses. Shell viruses are like whatever the boot virus we have seen previously. They all are what? Shell viruses. It do what? It creates the shell around the main executable file or main executable, and make that executable, the main executable, made it like subroutine. So only the first, whenever you run that program, the first virus code will execute itself and then it will run the subcode, and that is the original program. File extension viruses. This file extension viruses change the extension of the files. .txt is safe as it indicates a pure text file with extensions turned off. If someone sends you a file name like bad.txt.vbs, you will only see bad.txt, because by default Windows do what? It hides the well-known extensions. So .vbs is the well-known extension, so it will hide it and it will show you only bad.txt, and you will feel like this is the txt file. And if you have forgotten that the extensions are turned off, you might think this is a txt file and open it. And this is an executable Visual Basic script virus and file and could do serious damage. So you don't feel like it is a script, but it is actually VB script. But you run it like a text file. Feel it is a text file, it will not do any harm. So when you run it, it will run it is actually a VB script. So it will run a VB script and it will do a big harm to your system. What is the countermeasure? It is to turn off the hide file extension Windows. So in Windows, you go to the folder option and you can use this unhide extension for the known file systems. So it will also show you the extensions. For example, I have now for example this file name, it looks like kelsey.doc. So you can see, like, you can feel like it is a document file, but it is not a document file, it is actually exe file. So you can run this file as a document. You feel it like it is a document file and you execute it, you will feel like it is not doing any harm. But because it is a exe file, it is a virus file, it can do a large damage. So what you can do, you can go to the folder option, it is not a folder. We'll search the folder option here. So file explorer folder option, you will go to view and you have option here to hide extension for known files. So you will deselect this, and now when you go to that file, you will see the name is like kelsey.doc.exe and you will see the whole name. So now you know this is document file or an exe file. Then add-on and intrusive viruses. These add-on viruses append their code to the host code without making any changes to the letter, or relocate the host code relocate the host code to insert their own code at the beginning. Very simple, it do add it into the beginning so that whenever you run the program, first the code of virus will run and then the other code will run. Or it can do also add the code into the end of the program and add first the jumper. So when you run the program, it will run the jumper first and run the virus code first and then run the original program. So anyhow, virus code runs first. So intrusive viruses override the host code parity or completely with the viral code. That means it just write the whole code, remove the it add the whole code at the beginning, and whenever you run the program, the first virus code will run and then the original program will run. Transient and terminate and stay resident viruses. So these basic infection techniques, these are basic infection technique: direct action or transit virus, or terminate and stay resident virus. These direct action virus do what? It transform all the controls of the host code to where it resides in the memory. The virus runs when the host code is run and terminate itself or exit memory as soon as the host code execution ends. That means it will run with the program which is infected. So when you run the infected program, it will run itself, run with the program, and then when you close the program, it will close itself also. But this terminate and stay resident virus, this remains permanently in the memory and during the entire work session, even after the target host program is executed and terminated, can be removed only by rebooting the system. So this will remain in the memory, it will not close when the program closes. So when you run the infected program, this virus will execute, but it will remain in the memory after the program, infected program will close. Only the way to remove this is to reboot the system. Now creating the virus. How we can create the virus? First, you have to make sure that you create your own virus, your new virus, which is not created by anyone else. Because remember, whatever the virus you will get from the internet or you create from the virus makers tools, there are some tools to create the viruses. So if you create with them, so those tools are also well known, and the viruses which you get from the internet, these are also well known, so they will be easily detected, so that these codes or these viruses can be easily detected. So the better way to create an effective virus is what? The new virus by yourself. So you have to create the fresh new code by yourself. Virus, we can create virus by two different ways: writing a virus program by yourself, or we can use the virus maker tool. Writing the virus program means creating a batch file. For Windows, the executable file is the batch file. Now we have a script file, or PowerShell script also. So you can just create the script. If you know the scripting language, then you can create it easily. Like for example, here there is one code, small code is there, like echo off. Echo off, it will not display anything, it will run always in background. Then it is saying that for f in .batch, in star.bat file, do copy f plus game bat and delete this on from everything from the Windows directory. That means star.star, that means delete everything from Windows directory. Now what it will do, it will copy itself whenever it runs, and then what it do, it will delete every time when it runs. It delete the Windows files, directories, all the files from the Windows directory, and all the files, that means the files which has dot in between, like notepad.exe, kelsey.exe. It will delete every file. You can say it is some file name is like something.txt doc this what. So whatever file which starts with any name, ends with any name, any extension, in between it is dot, it is going to delete everything. Now what you will do, you will convert the game.bat. You will name it as a game.bat. You can see it is increasing, it is copying itself as a name of game.bat. So convert the game.bat file to game.com using the bat2com utility. There is a utility called bat2com. So we can do this, we can change this batch file to com file. Now it is not easy to understand that this is the executable. So send the com file as an email attachment to a victim. Then when run, it copies itself to all the bat files in the current directory and deletes all the files in the Windows directory. Now this is what the simple destructive virus, which destructive, it will destroy your system by deleting every file from Windows, and your Windows will get corrupt. But this is just an example. If you know the whole coding, then you can create your own virus by using these codings. Now for that you need to know the codings also. Now if suppose you are not a coding guy, you're not a programmer, then for you have these virus makers. There are these virus makers which we can use, like these SAMS virus generator, JPS virus maker, which is give you the simple way of selecting these things, and it will do what? Create the virus. It will generate the virus for you. It will generate the exe file, the virus exe file, and then you can put this virus to you will give this virus to anyone, and whenever they run that virus file, it will do all these things which is you have selected it. These are also other tools like these Nginx batch virus maker and Deadlines virus maker. These are all tools to make the viruses. You can make these viruses by using this. You have Sonic Bat, batch file virus creator, and Pension virus maker, Poison virus maker. Then the next thing is computer worm. After the virus, we have computer worm. Now these computer worms are malicious program that replicates, executes and spread across the network connection independently without human interaction. Most of the worms are created only to replicate and spread across a network, consuming available computing resources. However, some virus carries a payload to damage the host system. Attacker use worms payload to install backdoors in infected computers, which turns them into zombies and creates botnets. These botnets can be used to carry further cyber attacks. Now, very simple, these viruses is what it infects the other programs. Viruses cannot stay, cannot remain in their own program. They are not remain, they cannot be the independent program. They always insert the code into another program. There is one more problem in the viruses, that they cannot spread across the network, not even from one hard disk to other hard disk. Only it can go from one hard disk to other hard disk, or from one machine to other machine. When you copy the file, infected file, from one machine to other machine, and from the one hard disk to other hard disk, suppose you are having two hard disk in the system. If one hard disk is infected with the viruses, then it will not go automatically to other hard disk unless you copy the file from one hard disk to other hard disk, and even it will not travel to the network also. Now in other hand, computer worms are same as the viruses, but it do what? It basically made for spread onto the network. It is to execute and spread across the network. So it can do spread the network in the network without any independently, without human interaction. That means two things. It is first, it is itself a virus, itself a code. That means it is the worm codes does not it attach it worm does not attach its code into existing programs. It will not add its codes into existing program. Worms itself is a program, itself is an exe, and it can do what? It can also spread into the network without human interaction. So you don't have to copy the file, it will automatically go from one file, one machine to other machine by itself. Then also, because it is an independent program, it can carry the viruses also. So worm's job basically is to spread all over the network, spread all over the machine, and also carry the viruses. So viruses can do what? Viruses can infect, viruses can attach their code into worm code, and then worm will spread that code into the whole network. Then how does a worm different from virus? Simple, it replicates on its own, and virus does not replicate. Worm is a special type of malware that can replicate itself and use memory, but cannot attach itself to other program. So it will not attach itself to another program. And worm takes advantage of a file or information transport features on computer system and spreads through the infected network automatically, but a virus does not. So very simple, virus needs another program to be in the system, but worms don't need any other program. It is independent program. And viruses don't spread into the network, but worms can spread into the network automatically. And also worms do what? They carry the viruses itself. For creating the computer worms, we have Ghost-Eye worm. It can create the worm. We have worm maker, internet worm maker thing. We have other virus worm maker tools also. Now let's see how we can make this. Now before you are creating worms, trojans or viruses in your system, first you have to disable your security part. Like you have to disable your Windows Defender, or if you are having any antivirus, you have to disable it. Otherwise your antivirus can detect it, and then it can submit the code into the developers, and then developers can spread the code with the updates, signature with the updates, and everyone can detect your virus. So when you are doing some harmful thing, you should disable the security part. One more thing, every time if you want to do these things, if you want to create these viruses and worms, so please you should do this on virtual machine itself. You should not do this on your real machine, because it can harm your machine also. So for testing all of these, you should create it in your virtual machine and disconnect your virtual machine from network. Otherwise it can spread into the network also. So I have disabled my Windows Defender, so I can do create this. So I have the virus creator, I have the Trojan virus creators. So for example, First, trojans, like we have remote access trojan, rat. These are remote access trojan. For example, I will create this nj rat. Remote access trojans do what? It gives the control of the remote machine to this attacker. Now first it has to do what? It has to create a trojan exe and send it to that victim. So now this is what nj rat. Now what it is saying here, it is showing the source name, ip and these things, but first you have to create the exe file. So if we start this, remember the port number 5552. You can change the port number also if you like to change a different port. Now I will say start. Now it is started and it is waiting for the client to connect. Now client will do what? We have to send the exe file to the client, and when the client install that exe, it will infect by this trojan virus. Now this is what the exe is. So what I will do, I will send this exe to the victim machine, and the victim machine is okay, wait. So here in this share folder, let me, what I will do, I will put that file here. And now I will run it from the other machine. Okay, that is not the exe which is built here. So first we have to build the exe, trojan exe, to send to client, send to victim, and this is what builder option is here. Now from here we can build it. Like remember our this trojan is listening on this port right now, so we can make this on this host IP. Here will be we'll see the host IP here, the server who is hosting, and here we will put our own IP. So here I will put my own IP so that it will connect me. Victim's name will be hacked and the server exe. The server exe name will be this, and it is going to store it this directory. Then icon, if you want to add some icon on this exe, then you can add some icon from here. Protect process, copy to startup. So when the victim machine starts, it will always start. Then also register startup, so registry startup, so it will add the entry into the registry also. So whenever the machine starts, the victim machine starts, this trojan will also start. So I will build it, and it is asking me to where you want to save, so I will save it in the same directory, and the name is server.exe. Now you see this server.exe here. Now this exe we have to send to the victim, so I will copy this and send it to victim. Now I will run this from victim machine. So this is the server.exe here, and I will run it from here. And again it will also need .NET. So when you execute that server.exe on that machine, it reports to this control center here, and you can see that machine's information here. It is now hacked, and you can see the machine here. You can see the information here. You can see the screenshot, IP address, name of the machine, user account, and these other informations. Now what you can do here, we can right click. Now you can do right click here and then you can do all of these things. Now for example, like you want to get the manager, so this is the manager for that machine, that is server 2016. You can see the desktop, you can see the my pictures directory, startup, program files. You can browse the whole directory system. Then you can go for the file manager, process manager. This is file manager, this is process manager, where you can see the whole process of that system. You can see the whole process, and you can see these are the process running on that system. These are the process running on that system. You can keep seeing. Then you can see the connection status here. That machine is open these ports, it is listing on these ports. You can see the registry also, and you can go for remote shell. Remote shell, that means you can get the command line shell from that machine, and you can do one or whatever you want to do also. You can see the services also, whatever services running on that system. This is what the manager. You can do what? You can run the file from link, from disk, from script. You can see the remote desktop. You can see here we are getting the remote desktop of that system. Then we can get the camera also, we can see the microphone, we can hear, we can get the passwords also. Even if we have, we can get these other, we can enable the keylogger, we can open the chart, we can see the servers. So you can do update, uninstall, restart, close, disconnect, rename. You can open folders from here. So it is doing what? It is passing the connection to the client, to this Trojan RAT, remote access. Remote access, that means we are accessing the system from remotely, and we are doing all those things from here. We can enable the keyloggers also. This is one example of the RAT. We have others also. We have the other remote access Trojans also, like we have Moonsucker, we have Thief. These are all these same as this Trojan, like RAT Trojan. These are all same Trojan. What we have to do, we have to just install the server there in the system, in the victim machine, and then we can run it from the creator here. This is what Moonsucker. And this is for the creating of server. So this will create the server for us. I want to create a stealth Trojan server for victim, or I want to create a visible server for local testing, or I want to edit an existing server. So if you have already created, then you can edit it also, or you want to create it for new visible server, that means it is for just testing, local testing, or you want to do some hacking, you want to create a stealth server. And these other options are like including this DLL in your Moonsucker server at 750 KB extra. This include the OCX file server 250 KB extra. It is recommended to do that. Packed for minimal size. Transport the cipher. And this is the KB size of that server. So I want to create it. Start the configuration after creating the server. So I will say OK. Now it is saying where you want to save it, so I will go to save here. I will say test. And it is creating the Trojan exe. This This Trojan exe is created successfully here. Now you just have to transfer this exe to victim machine. So we'll do copy this and transfer this to victim's machine. And now when the victim machines runs it, and this is the configuration for the server, like the server is created. So you want to reconfigure the server, like this is the server ID, cipher, victim's name, server name. And remember the server name, it is going to use these names, one of these names. These are kernel32 msconfig, and it is not msconfig, it is msc0nfig. It is just changing the O to 0. So changing a little difference. So it is like common file name, common exe file names there. It can use the extension as exe, pif, bat, dil, these extension also. So it can use any of these extension to save the Trojan virus there in the victim's machine. You have other options, like you can put password on this, you can put auto start option, how you want to put auto start option, and how you want to start the Trojan. You have option for the notification. It will send the notification ICQ or MSN notification, notification 2 also. You can give some options you can set for the Trojan code. You can read these options. You can set the events also, like when this Trojan should run, like whenever this happens, then that happens should run this Trojan. You can bind it with some other files. Then you can have the keylogger option, like where it is going to be keylog. So if you enable this keylogger, so it is going to create the logging into this file. It is going to save the file into file name as a monitor.log, and it is going to save it into a particular location, which we can download it later when we connect it. We can enable the smart logging. Smart logging, that means we can set some trigger point, like when the victim goes to Hotmail, Yahoo, login, password, blank, secure, checkout, register, then it is going to active and do the full key logging. We have plugins option. We have fake errors. Fake errors, that means when this Trojan exe runs, it will run the fake error. Suppose I give this Trojan to the victim as a fake software. So when it runs the software, it will give a fake error. So I will say, the victim will say that what, it's the software is not running. I will say maybe it is corrupted, but it will actually run in background and do the harm. So whenever it runs, it gives some fake error. You can change this error, you can design this error. Then you can go to the file properties. This is the file property, and you can even change the icons also. You can change the icon so that it looks normal exe file. If you have an icon files, I don't have. You can choose one of these icons from here. Let's say I will choose this. Now what? We have to open the Moossucker here, and we have to wait for the victim to execute that exe. So I'll go to the victim machine and execute that exe. Now from here I will execute this, and it is showing you the fake error here. It is a fake error. It is saying administrator does not have permission to access this, but it is not anything. It is just a fake error. It is designed, but the program is executed in the background. The Trojan was executed in the background. Now we have to connect it. So I will give the IP of that victim machine, and the port is the default one. I will say connect. It is not getting a response, but soon it is going to connect. Now this one is not connecting, I think because of the other server we have executed, but this one is the same one. It is also a RAD. So when you run it, you can see these other informations here. You can do these other information, you can see when it is connected. Then we have others, Trojans like this. We have Moossucker, we have other RADs, Trojans, we have ProRat, we have Thief. These all do the same thing. We have these things, these all do the same. It works same. We just have to create the server, send the server into the victim machine. When the victim executed the server, it will get the control to the Trojan horse, to the Trojan controller. Then we have virus makers also. So if you want to make a viruses, then we have these virus makers like JPS virus maker. This is what the virus maker. It is very simple to make a virus. Like what you want to do with the virus, what you want to do, what you want to disable, what you want to enable, you can just create by this. Like I want to disable, let's say I want to disable Notepad, check. I want to disable Yahoo Task Manager registry. I want to disable Windows clock, desktop icons. I want to mute the sound. I want to do the crazy mouse, destroy the taskbar, hide the cursor. These are lots of things we can choose to select to do. Like I want to disable the taskbar. So you can select what you want to do. Then we have these other options, like you want to select restart, log off, turn off, hibernate or none. This is the restart option. You want to do start after restart. You want to restart the virus after restart. You want to do it after log out, turn off or hibernate. None, that means it will run directly. Then name of after installation. So after installation, what name it will use. So you can choose either of these names. And remember, these names are stored into system32 directory of Windows. So these exes, these exes are there in system32. So it is going to hide there with these similar names. But the server name, the Trojan, the virus name will be sender.exe. This will be the virus name, but you can put any other name also. So when it is created, it will be this name, and after installation, it will use this name. Then what? You can just say create virus. Whatever you want to do, you select it and just say create virus. And it says create successfully. Now you see, this is the virus. Now when it is installed into the system, it will do whatever it is intended to do, like what we have selected to do. So what are the options we have selected? When it is installed, it will do all those things. So you just have to send this to the victim machine, and when you install this in the victim machine, it will do what? It will do all these things. So let's say I will send it to victim machine. I will paste it here in the share folder, and then when the user execute it, now when the victim execute this, it will do its job and it will do whatever it has made it for do. So I will try this. Now remember, it is going to corrupt the system. It is going to destroy those things which you have selected. So be careful for testing. Remember, do it on virtual machine if you are testing it. So now I have executed it. And it is going to do those things. Same as this GPS virus maker, we have other virus makers also which creates these exes by only selecting these simple options. Then this JPS virus maker is also can make a worm. Like this is the virus, and it can make this virus as a worm also. You can go to this side, and this side you can do this options, other options. You can select the extra options like change the XP password. It works only for the XP machine, Windows XP. change the computer name, change the Internet Explorer page, choose the custom windows, disable the custom service, disable the custom process, open the custom website, run the custom commands, enable convert. Now this one can convert it into worm also. So you just have to select this and then you just name the worm, and then you have to select how much copy you want to make per second. Just to say how much copy you want to make per second. So as soon as it will run first time, it will start making these number of copies. And you can see it is lots of number of copies within a second. So it will start making the copy number of seconds, these number per second, and it becomes worm also. So this can also make worm also. The same virus it will make as a worm, and it will do what? It will spread all over the system and also all over the network also. And here you can change the icons. By default it is selected JPG icon, so it is JPG showing here, but you can choose the other icons also when you are creating the virus. So this is this is the JPS virus maker. And same as this, you have the other virus makers also, which you can use to make the viruses. Same as you have worm maker also, host I worm maker, internet worm maker. These are only worm maker which makes worms to spread all over the system. You can put the password here. Then you have internet worm maker also. And it has lots of options to choose from. You can make these options. You just have to select these options and it will generate a worm for you. And then you can put that worm to the victim machine, and then it will infect and it will start spreading it. But remember, when you are testing these worms, test it into the network, in the virtual environment, so that it will not affect your real machine. And also disconnect your real machine from the network, disconnect your virtual machine from the real network, so that it will not make effect to other machines in your network also. So these are the Trojan makers, virus makers and worm makers. But remember, these are the tools, these are the construction kits we have. But remember, all these construction kits are well known and everyone knows it, and the signature for these construction kits are known to antiviruses. So when you try to use this, you have to disable the antivirus, otherwise it will detect it and it will delete it. So it is always the good idea to create your own virus, your new virus, so that it will not detected by any other antivirus system. Now, malware analysis. For malware analysis, we have the Sheep Deep Computer. Now, what is Sheep Deep Computer? This Sheep Deeping refers to the analysis of suspect files, incoming messages, etc. for malware. A Sheep Deep Computer is installed with port monitor, file monitor, network monitor and antivirus software, and connect to a network only under strictly controlled condition. It is the system, it is the machine which is called Sheep Deep. It has loaded with all the security things like monitoring, port monitoring, file monitoring, network monitoring and antivirus software and everything. And it is connected to the gateway also, so that everything it can go through with this machine. It runs user group permission process monitoring, it runs the device driver and file monitoring, it runs the port and network monitoring, it runs also the registry and kernel monitoring, so that if any infected file comes into the system, it can be detected by this Deep Sheep Computer. Antivirus sensor system. Antivirus sensor system is a collection of computer software that detects and analyzes malicious code threats such as viruses, worms, and trojans. They are used along with the sheep-deep computer. So with the sheep-deep computer, it uses antivirus sensor system also. So this is your internal network, and this is your antivirus system, where you are having the antivirus, you are anti-spyware, you have anti-spamware, you have email scanner, you have anti-phishing software, you have anti-trojan software also. So if any traffic comes from this network to this internal network, it will be only allowed after this antivirus system is cleared the traffic. If it is not infected, if it is not having any malicious coding and anything, then only it will go to inside network, otherwise it will be detected and dropped here or reflected the traffic. Malware analysis procedure. First, if you want to analyze the malwares, first you have to prepare the testing pad. Isolate the system from the network by ensuring that the NIC card is in host only mode. So first you do what? You have to make sure that the network is not connected. Disable the shared folders and the guest isolation. Then copy the malware over the guest OS. And first you have to start from here. You just first start from here. Always do this on virtual machine. So install the virtual machine, VMware, Hyper-V, anything. Then install the guest operating system on that virtual machine. Disconnect that virtual machine from the network. Disable the share folders and then copy the malware there for analysis. For doing the analysis procedure, we have different tools also. Perform the static analysis when the malware is inactive and collect information about string values found in the binary with the help of string extracting tools such as binary text, bin text, the packaging and compressing technique used with the help of compression and decompression tools such as UPX. So these are the tools which you can use to analysis the antivirus and analysis the viruses, bin text, UPX. Then you have the process monitoring. You do the process monitoring also, set up the network collection and check that it is not going any errors, and run the virus and monitor the process actions and system information with the help of process monitoring tools such as Process Monitor and Process Explorer. So when you are analyzing the viruses, you will see that what processes are running in the background. Then also analysis the net traffic also, net resident. This is the net resident tool which records the network traffic information using the connectivity and log packet content monitoring tool such as net resident and TCP view. Determine the files added, process spanned and changes to the registry with the help of registry monitoring tools such as RegShot. These are the tools which is used to monitor the network and registry also. Then you collect the following information using the debugging tools such as OliDebug and ProcDump. You check the services request and DNS table information, attempts for incoming and outgoing connections. So with the help of these tools, you can open any viruses and analyze for that what these viruses trying to do, which processes they are trying to run, which network they are trying to connect, which calls they are trying to do from the operating system. We have IDA Pro, we have OliDebug, and also we have online malware testing tool that is called VirusTotal. This is a site where you can upload the virus and check the status of that virus. If you suppose suspect some virus, suspect some file, so this VirusTotal is a free service that analyzes suspicious files and URLs and facilitate the detection of virus and worms and trojans. So you can just upload the file on internet and you can check it there. Then we have these other tools to analyze the viruses and trojans.